I got this comment within the past week or so, and I thought it would be a good video topic because it's a great question, right? How did we set ourselves up financially to be able to afford such a big portion of our paycheck for the mortgage? There's really no easy way when it comes to it. A lot of times we will get questions like, what's the quickest way? What's the easiest way? And honestly, guys, with paying off debt, there's no get rich quick scheme. There's really not an easier way. It takes a lot of discipline, consistency, doing the same thing over and over and over, and focus, tunnel vision, all the things. So I've talked before about how we can afford so much to our mortgage every paycheck. But the short answer is we don't have a lot of debt. We decided to first take years to pay off our debt first. And if we did have debt, we would not be paying this much to our mortgage because our money would be going towards other things. I even made a post today talking about debt is robbing your future self. And I've heard a lot of financial gurus say that, but it's really true. Signing up for debt today means in 12 months from now, you are going to be having a monthly payment taking from what you could be putting towards savings, debt payoff, mortgage payoff, whatever your heart desires. You sign up for a debt payment today, that's $500 a month. You're going to be paying on that until that loan is done. Deciding to sign up for debt is so normalized. It's so common. It's just, oh, finance it. Oh, payments. Oh, just do this, just do that. That's just the norm. So signing up for stuff like that is what we decided to stop doing after we paid off all that debt. Of course, we don't want to get back into all that debt. And really, we forget that some of the things in this life is a luxury. It's not a necessity. If you say, hey, I'm tired of this car I've had paid off for 2 years, I'm tired of it, I want a new car, you technically don't need to do that. You're technically signing up for debt that you didn't have to have. Now, I get that people get car payments because most people can't just pay for cars outright. And I do not fault anyone for what they decide to do. I do not judge anyone. But if you're someone who, there's a lot of people out there who decide to sign up for car payments or sign up for whatever debt there is to get just because they can and they want that item now, that comes at a cost. Like you're going to be paying on that for a while. And there's not just cars. It could be, oh, the fence that we saved up for. People finance that patio. It's like it's not common to just save up for stuff and pay for it and use those savings to then pay for that item. That's not common. There's so many different ways to get into debt. There's ways that I don't even know how you can get into debt. Like I didn't even know you could get into debt in this way, in that way. I really didn't even get super hip to HELOCs until I got a house. It's debt. That's what it is. Like people are like, oh, just get a HELOC and use it for this. And sure, there are strategic ways that people like to get into debt and they try to force their opinions on me and tell me I need to do that. No, thank you. Debt is debt is debt. I don't want to do that. If you want to take a HELOC out and use that to get a whole nother house, that's completely your choice. Like people have free will. They can do whatever they want. But at the end of the day, it's another payment that I do not want. And it's another payment that I would be paying right now and not putting extra to my mortgage and paying it off quickly. That's what it comes down to. And so when people ask how, which is the $1,000,000 question, it's a loaded question in itself. Our expenses are low. Our spending is controlled. Some people, they just have the income. We aren't super high earners, to be very honest with you. Sure, we're grateful and blessed that we make over 6 figures annually before tax. Yes, you're making 6 figures, but a portion of that isn't yours, as we all know. We don't see all that money. We're estimating to probably make maybe 130 this year before tax. We bring home, after all the deductions and things that come out of your paycheck, we bring home about $3,500 every 2 weeks. That's not just my check. That's not just my husband's check. That's both of our paychecks together. And there are some people out there who make that $3,500 just by themselves, like as a single income. And so I don't get caught up in comparisons. And people will ask, well, how much money do you and your husband make? Because I want to see if we can do this. Red flag. First red flag right there. That's already a problem. You don't compare your income to someone else to tell you what you can and can't do. It comes down to math. At the end of the day, this is your income. This is your expenses. What's left over? Is there enough to put it towards other goals? If there isn't, what can you work on? So yes, we can put a large portion, 58% of our income this month, to the mortgage because our expenses are low. Our spending is controlled. That's what it comes down to. What do you have left after all of your expenses? We have a decent amount. We want to put it towards our mortgage for the next 10 months and pay it off. Like, period. I want it out of my life. Now, as far as our emergency fund, so when we were paying on debt, we probably had like a $2,000 to $2,500 emergency fund during that time. Would we have loved more? Sure. Do I feel like $1,000 is enough? No. Sorry, Dave Ramsey, you gotta catch some strays. And after we paid off all the debt, we went towards saving for the down payment. So it's like, I guess, like, did we say, oh, this amount is our emergency fund? Technically, no. But at the end of the day, if we had some type of devastating emergency and we're stacking money for our down payment, would we just dip into that money? Probably. If we were like, crazy medical bills, somebody lost their job, we can't afford rent, we probably would dip into it. But luckily, we've, maintained our jobs for several years. And it's just not something we've had to touch all of it. And I will say last year, we did have to decrease our emergency fund some. We were on a roll and almost about to have it be at 15,000, but things came up. We had like quite a few car expenses that we just wanted to get out the way finally and stop putting it off, amongst other things. So our emergency fund right now is sitting at 10,000, but before we got this house, technically yes, we had a decent amount in savings to the point that once we closed, we still had enough left over to say, okay, this is our emergency fund. This is how much we have left. It was probably 10 to 12,000 whenever we closed and we had the down payment money out of there and everything. And so I tried to stack, increase a little bit over time. Had something come up last year. Now it's really just sitting at 10,000. And if you guys didn't see that video, I'll link that in the description if you want to watch it after this one with just all the rundown of all of our savings right now. So yeah, definitely emergency funds and just savings in general, so important. I feel like it's really undermined, and it's a lot of the reason that we get into debt anyway a lot of times is because people don't have the money saved that they need when an emergency comes up. And honestly, people ask me, well, how much should you have? It's going to depend on your financial situation. Is there two people working in the home? Are you in a field where you could get laid off? Or are you in a high in demand type of job where there's lots of opportunities for different jobs in your field? So many things. Do you rent or do you own? Do you have to pay for your AC if it goes out? If your air conditioning went out right now, how would you pay for that? So just so many things. And really it's opened my mind lately just because I've been thinking about different things like homeowners insurance and like the types of homeowners insurance. And it just made me realize like, wow, I feel like we could have so much more money saved, more so in the mindset of if something happened, some things are covered by homeowners insurance, some stuff isn't. Like I even got a quote for flood insurance. That was like a good $600. And there's different types of it. There's stuff that it's like a natural disaster for flood insurance, or homeowners insurance that does cover it in other scenarios, like some type of water break in your home, like just so many things like what that comes with homeownership that I'm just like, I would feel a lot more comfortable if after we pay off this house, we just start stacking it up and saving a decent amount of money. Like I want a good cushion after this house is paid off. And it just shows you like the possibilities are endless when it comes to like saving money, things that could come up, all the things. So I would just love to better prepare ourselves in the best possible way if I could. Now, also, so what is your method to aggressively pay off debt without having to live paycheck to paycheck to pay down debt, but also live your life? So it really is going to be a personal thing. Someone like me, myself, I'm content with things like having a weekly outing, going out, eating, spending some time either by myself or with my family. And then also, you guys saw in the video a little bit ago, I think that was last week, we took our kids out, spent like maybe $35 on them, being able to just have like free play. We're not like deprived in any way, but there's some people who might think, oh, going out to eat once a week, not going to the nail salon, not getting my hair done every month. Some people might think that that is deprivation, like they might feel deprived in that scenario. So it really just depends on yourself. If you say, hey, I want to set up my budget so that way every time I get paid, I have this certain amount of money that goes towards this thing that brings me joy, whether that's nails, hair, haircut, like going out, going to a restaurant. Like if you're in the dating scene and you need to have a date like every week, every 2 weeks, all of that, put it in your budget. Like you don't spend $1,000 today every month if you feel like you need to spend $200 every month and it's just not there. So maybe for you, your number is $800 today every month. Maybe your number is $400. It really just depends on yourself. And you have to be realistic in your budget and say, hey, this genuinely brings me joy and I want to have this thing twice a month, once a month, what have you. Whatever that looks like for you, it's going to be different. Now, if you're someone who's just like, it's just not there, maybe you need to increase income. Maybe you need to get a side hustle. Maybe you need to do DoorDash. Maybe you need to do Lyft, Uber Eats. I've done all of those things. And sometimes you just do what you have to do to increase your income in a way that you're not also feeling like you're working too much. It's kind of like different for everyone. But at the end of the day, like I always say, it's really just math. That's what it comes down to. What do you have left after all of your expenses? And if it doesn't allow you to be on an aggressive payoff journey, that it just doesn't allow you to do that. Like the money just has to be there, whether you're single, have a partner, have more money coming in, married, it just has to make sense for you mathematically. But for sure, like definitely leave your guys' comments or questions a lot in the comments, because if it's something that I really can expand on, definitely would love to do a video on it. But good question. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. I will see you in the next video.